everyone. I'll give this a moment to load up, give everybody a chance to get here, make sure my screen and everything is good. Good morning, Rick, and thanks for being a very, very trusted mod here for a very long time, Rick. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Defined Group, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. So much to talk about this morning. So excited to have everybody that'll tune in. It's just we have a spectacular audience, and whether you're tuning in now or after the live is over, it means just as much to me. So I'll let everybody get in here. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome in, and hopefully you're having a blessed Sunday so far. I've got a ton of dirt coming in. I've got so much more stuff to do today. I got to go to church at 11, but I wanted to do a nice hour live here. Then I'm going to do a bunch of work outside. I got another apple tree yesterday that I planted, which is awesome. Because my second apple tree from last year was a little injured, so I wanted to get another one to have a nice steady base. And it was about 6 feet tall, or 7 feet tall, so it's a nice one. Daytona, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Mark Sintik, welcome in. Patsy Weber, good morning from New York City. Your first live. I am honored, my friend, and thank you for tuning in so early on a Sunday morning for us on the East Coast. Or in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, I should say. Mosey here, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Rapid Freedom George, love the name upgrade. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Good morning to you. Two Ravens, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Jennifer says, I'm studying my equine massage, so this is my break from it. Excellent. Excellent. The newest apple tree is a Gala apple. Julie really likes Gala apples, so I tried to find a Gala tree. So I found that. I already have a wolf apple tree, which is kind of like a green apple with a little bit of red in it. So it's going to be awesome. I have another one, but it just, do you have two different apple varieties so they can cross-pollinate? Yes, I do, Jennifer. I have a wolf apple and a Gala apple tree. And then I have two different kind of peach trees that we pollinated, and we have tons of peaches on them right now. They're very small, but there's hundreds of them. It's going to be so cool. Fourth year for one peach tree. And second year for one peach tree, third for the other. But they were a couple years old when I got them because they were teenagers. Paragons, welcome in. Robert, good morning. Mr. Jonathan, Mr. Bogard, good morning. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor and being a very trusted mod. Said, hello, people. Hello, Tom. Give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ today on the holiest of days. Yes, don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as I'll be going to church at 11, sit around my peers, the ones who preach, and yada, 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 so on and so forth. Stay humble, show humility, show grace. And when there's more than one of us speak in the name of our Lord and Savior, God becomes present in our actions and our community, and that's what's happening this morning, which is great. Amanda O'Shea, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Chuck Wheezy, good morning. It's a beautiful day indeed to find. Joseph Euler, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Sal, good morning. Jennifer says, okay, awesome. Apples are finicky. I went some too, but with really low chill hour. Yes, it is a kind of a pain in the butt, especially where I live in Michigan too, because you do get some flowering earlier in the year, but you got to wait until the fall before you actually realize some of this stuff. But I got a lot of stuff going on out there. It's kind of like my way of staying sane. Besides my show and that kind of thing. Like, this helps me, no doubt. Yesterday, all I was able to do was the live because I had my uncle's 60th birthday party. It was a surprise, and then I came back home and did some work. I was just exhausted. But I'm glad to start the day like this with all of you. Red Sea Dragon, welcome in. Good sunny day, crypto world and Tom. Yes, indeed. So what do we have to talk about this morning? Great question, and we'll get into that as soon as I do the intro. Good morning. 9:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, May 18th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Can't believe it's already May 18th, but some big things we have to talk about for tomorrow. So the CME Group is set to launch XRP futures on Monday amid legal setback for SEC and Ripple. Out of curiosity, how many of you have heard about any of these stories this morning? So we've got that story from CME. We've got a possibility, and this was a rumor that was circulating a couple days ago, and I waited for a few updates, but it says Meta plans to acquire Ripple for XRP. RLUSD fact check. So we're going to fact check that. That was something going around, and we'll take a look at exactly what that is. Ripple taps XRP ledger to boost income for farmers, which, again, another avenue. And then we had 2.02 billion in 24 hours as XRP enters rare distress mode. So a lot of volatility going on, a lot of different things to read. We'll see what's going on with the CME futures and things like that. But this will be an interesting morning for sure to be part of this live. We'll start off with the charts and I'll kind of bounce back and forth. A lot of focus on XRP this morning. A lot of focus on the market cap. A lot of focus on the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And then I have a lot of what I want to see when the gold and silver bullion markets open back up for precious metals later on today. I want to see the reaction there. I want to see the reaction in the US dollar, the DXY, the 10-year government bond, and also how crude oil ends up playing into Monday morning, because we're going to be able to see a rotational flip. So we'll be able to see if money's going to start pouring into cryptocurrency or risk assets, or if it's going to find its way to another avenue. I do like on a Sunday seeing Ethereum back up over 2,500, but we have some work to do. So sit back, relax, take a moment, hit that like button, share this on social media, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet, as we're at 37,700. Is that right? 37,700 plus subscribers now. Wow. But let's get into this. Enough of the back and forth. So XRP right now. And let's see. Papa Wheelie, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Love it. V, welcome in as well. V Canary. Best I can say with that name. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's early. East Coast, Eastern Standard Time Zone is starting to wake up now. We give a little grace on Sundays. So, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know 6:30 is the normal trading time, but we give grace on Sundays. So about 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, I would say. So about an hour from now is when you should see the real caveat here of what's going to happen on the weekend. If we came down, we were looking at a bullish scenario if we could keep this inverse pattern. Now, I will be very upfront, like we said yesterday, as long as we hold that 234 area, and now we could say in real time 232, we don't have to take the next step. In fact, this does look like a W reversal on the 4 hourly is starting to transpire. We held perfectly on the 200-day down here. Now, if we want to hold this, we're going to have to re-break this 240 and start pushing back up. We've got to get back on top of, let's just say, 252 area and start overtaking that 265 if we want to avoid a bigger drop, because we do have a near support structure here that, this is where if you fall below like 232, where you might end up working your way down. Now, this is the longer term if we were to take the 3.5 years. So don't get worried about this chart necessarily. This is where if we took the 3.5 years, because we had like 3.5 years on the prior 5-wave cycles when we actually played through them. So this is kind of like if we held on the same way as we did in the past. Now, that doesn't have to happen like that. We've made it very clear that this could, in fact, especially in a super cycle setting, that this could be the reversal here, and this could be a quick 4 waves here. Now, is it early? It could be, but as we go back here into the rotational stuff, is this really on point right now? Because we started in December, January of 24. The apex moment would be August, September area of 25. So that puts us, 9-10 months of a pattern. And now we see we're at the end of May. So if you go January, February, March, April, May, that's 5 months. If we got to go June, July, August, that's another 3 to 4 months. So we are like 60%, 70% possibly of this move. So it's not that it's so premature, but we've got to see if we've got the, let's just say, the testicular fortitude to push out of this range. So we had the back test to break out of this descending triangle. It's a dual layer, but the bottom layer was just that initial breakout. The top layer where 232's at right now, that is where you have to break out and hold, which if you're asking me, we're doing exactly what we need to do. And this is where it makes me happy over the weekend, because not only did we break out of this, we double tapped the 265 pivot, came back down to back test the break out of this structure that was taking forever. And it wasn't like it was a 1 or 2% drop. It was a harsh back test, and these are what you need. This is a 13% quick drop, quick hitter, And this is how you back test a pattern formation and tell us, okay, Tom, we might not have been bullish coming out of this, but if we hold this back test, we are super bullish, and that should make us hyper bullish to where what I mean by that is we break past a pivot layer that has been a pain in the ass for over 6 months now, and then we can break past it, and that's how we open up this pattern. And yes, we have to look at the caveat of, okay, if it doesn't happen, well, yes, obviously we know. Then we got 211 underneath. Then it could be a little bit worse, but this is how you backtest a pattern breakout. Like, that is exactly what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to do if we're trying to break out to this next layer. Jose, welcome in. Watch, recycle, repeat is his famous words. Watch the content, recycle by sharing with friends and family, and repeat. Come back, watch the next update and or live or short, and keep it flowing. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge, Jose. I really appreciate it. If you want to show me support on my channel, you could always join Tom's Army. I do everything for free, but I reinvest what everybody supports my channel with in the best way I know how, technology. I'm creating a website right now that I showed a sneak peek at yesterday, which is going to be awesome. No charge for the website. It's free for all, but it's going to be a lot of resources that you can use. But it's because of all of you who show me support. You can send a super chat if you would like. It's not required. But it just means a lot that you all still come in here even when it's not so bullish. But I'm telling you, pay attention to this. Can we see this setup? Can we see this back test? It's a big week. This is a big week. Monday, Chicago ETF and Washington stablecoin action. Yes! V. I'm going to call you V. I'm going to call you V. But V, yes. That's something we can switch into right now. So I'm glad you mentioned that. The CME group, if you guys have just tuned in, the CME group is set to launch XRP futures on Monday amid legal setback for SEC and Ripple. And if you don't know, the federal judge on Thursday rejected a proposal settlement that sought to reduce Ripple's $125 million penalty. So the Chicago Mercantile Exchange CME group, how many of you have heard about this out of curiosity? Shawnee Mountains, yes, it is a big week this week. And Defined Group says, hit those likes, peeps. Tom deserves love. I appreciate that. We've got 110 people watching. Does it say 54 likes? So we're about half. I love my new setup. I can see everything so good. Nothing's blocking your screen. Oh, I love it. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange CME Group, the world's leading derivatives marketplace, is expected to launch XRP futures and micro XRP futures contracts on Monday, May 19th, aiming to expand its suite of regulated crypto derivatives to include the fourth largest digital asset by market capitalization. How many have actually heard about this? We're not really hearing a lot about the CME futures on Monday. I haven't heard nothing really about it. I had to look deeper just to find some information. Big Dog, welcome in on this Sunday. Beautiful morning of the Lord. Thank you for being part of Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's my face superimposed on there. I kid you not. Love it. Yeah, Jennifer, a lot of people didn't know about it. I've been reading about it for the last couple of days, but I was having a hard time figuring out if it was actually going to go through. So I started to do some research when I woke up this morning. So the contracts will be available for trading on CME Globex and cleared through CME, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Clearport, with access beginning Sunday evening. So tonight, May 18th for after hours, participants as noted in CME's notice. Each XRP futures contract will represent 50,000 XRP, while the micro XRP futures will represent 2,500 XRP, which means every time somebody buys the bigger portion, 50,000 XRP will have to be purchased. So 50,000 XRP. Let's see. 50,000 XRP. We'll do a modest times $2.38. That's $119,000 worth of XRP that's going to have to be purchased through that contract. Now, the smaller one is 2,500 XRP. So 2,500 XRP times 2.30, we'll say 7. That's $5,925. So you're talking about anywhere from $5,925 for the smaller contracts all the way up to 11,800. Oh, wait a minute. Not 100. $118,500 would be spent on those max contracts. So you're talking about some major money. So if somebody buys a 50,000 on the futures, that's going to be something. That's 100 and something thousand, over 115,000 roughly. That is going to have to be bought of XRP. That's going to bring some upward price volatility. This is what we need to see. I'm telling you, this is what is going to help increase the capital of XRP. There's no doubt in my mind, with patience, you're all going to be six figures and more. Bottom line, if you bought 10,000 XRP and you had the understanding like we did at 34 and 38 cents in those bear markets of 23 and 24, that money that you spent 3,500, $4,000, that's going to turn into 100 grand plus. I guarantee it. XRP will hit $10 in time. That, I'm telling you, we're going to be sitting here one day and it's going to be that first move from $10 to $20 where somebody's buying at $10 and they're fucking so happy they made 100% from 10 to 20 while we're sitting there, and it ends up being that unbelievable move. Like you're talking about a 30x move. While somebody's making a 1x, we'd be making 30x. So if you spent $3,500, that's a 100 grand move in one move. We're working our way up there right now. We are working our way there. So let me read this line again. Each XRP futures contract will represent 50,000 XRP, which if you purchase it, that's about 118,000 right now, dollars. While the micro XRP futures will represent 2,500, which is, I think it said 5,800 or something like that, or a little bit more. XRP both cash settled based on the CME XRP dollar reference rate. Fees vary by participant type and venue. CME Group confirmed in April that it plans to launch its first XRP futures contracts pending regulatory approval following earlier leaks in January that hinted at the rollout. Let's see. Frankie Fresh, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor and being a very trusted mod. And I encourage all of you to stay here right now. I know some people are leaving because we're off the charts. I get it. But if you're a fan of XRP, if you own XRP, if you want to see how the price appreciation comes, don't skip the news. The charts tell you the news, and the news validates the charts. Politics are the manipulated factor. So if you understand the three forces, it's very easy to figure out what's coming. The XRP products will expand CME's existing crypto derivatives lineup, which already includes contracts tied to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. CME just debuted Solana futures in March. The company's Q1 crypto derivatives trading saw a daily volume climb 141% year over year to 198,000 contracts, or 11.3 billion in notional terms, while open interest grew 83% to 251,000 contracts, worth 21.8 billion. The upcoming rollouts come as efforts to settle the SEC's long-running case against Ripple, the company behind XRP, stall in court. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge Annalisa Perez, the federal judge presiding over the case, denied a joint request by the two parties to approve a settlement that would have reduced Ripple's civil penalty from $125 million to $50 million, calling it procedurally improper. And this is the thing. That was a paperwork issue, so it's not that they're throwing it out or something's going to change. They said that it wasn't filled out properly, which somebody should have known across all of the readings, and somebody had to have known that. So this is just a stall tactic because they're not ready and they're just forcing retail to wait. Calling it procedurally improper, Judge Perez explained that the motion failed to satisfy Rule 60, which only allows relief from a final judgment under exceptional circumstances. The decision keeps Ripple's legal challenge alive and casts uncertainty over the timeline for a spot XRP ETF approvals, which remain under SEC review. Still, the introduction of CME XRP futures gives institutional investors regulated exposure to XRP price movement at a time when interest in crypto derivatives is growing. Last month, Coinbase announced the listing of XRP future contracts, including standard XRP futures and nano XRP futures, on its regulated derivatives exchange. The price of XRP has been relatively stable over the past 24 hours at approximately 230. It was about 238 when we started this, or 237 when we started the live. So that's one thing I wanted to go over. There's a lot of things I actually want to go over. There's a rumor about Meta, so we'll go into that in a minute as well, about them possibly purchasing Ripple and the Ledger and yada, yada, yada. And we'll go over that, but I want to make sure everybody's seeing this properly if you're tuning in, so you're not just coming to me, oh my God, he's reading, there's no charts. Because there is a lot of reading. on this Sunday morning because we're getting ready for the week. We're getting ready for the trading week, and I want to know what's going on. Right now, that's a beautiful reversal right now. We can only hope that this plays out this way. If this 4 hourly engulfs here, and let's just say by noon today, if you're watching this at noon today and you see this chart and Ripple or XRP ends up over 240 by noon, we're in ball game. This would be a ball game here. We would be in business, big time business. We're already back testing the breakout of this massive descending triangle that started in December. The apex point is September of 25, as you can see here. So September of 25 is the apex point. We can put it up here just so we can see it even when we do this. So that's the apex point of September of 25, which means we're closing in on 70% of the move. And that's when you generally break out. Now, if you hold this uptrend, which we bounced off of, that's the parabolic spike. Now you backtest the breakout, and that's how you confirm this breakout. We already have the inverse head and shoulders we're playing off of. We're in a perfect procedural spot if we want to continue up, or at least a fundamental zone. And this is what we need to continue on. Frankie Fresh, it's going great, my friend. Going great. I hope you're doing good. I'm loving you guys talking to each other too. It means I love it. I love this community so much. We just have something crazy here that's crazy good. And then if we continue up, our next zone here is we've got to get back into the demand zone. We get into the demand zone. What follows demand is discovery. So up here, and I'll make this a wider view after I put this little label out, just so you guys can see the importance of this and the fact that we came back down before going into discovery on the top of the box. That is so huge. We don't have to come back down and do all this consolidation. We've cleared it all out for when we get into demand. It's going to be a pretty spectacular what the hell? A spectacular thing when it actually happens. Or not demand, discovery. It's going to be unbelievable. And I'm all for it. I can't wait for discovery. If I'm being honest, I cannot wait for discovery. So once we get up here, we're in discovery. You know, once we break above this zone, we get into discovery. So now when you look at this, it's spectacular because we've come out of demand. We've come out of our third supply box. And we're on a fourth to fifth wave right now. So if this actually pans out, I mean, we've got a long ways to go to get out of the demand. But once we do, we've already cleared out all this space. So it's not like we're going to go into discovery and then be like at $3.80 or $4 and have to come all the way back down to $1.50 because we didn't clear out the support. The worst thing we could have did was go into discovery after having a 7-year consolidation where if you go back in this chart, you've got people all the way back here in 2017 and sitting all the way through, you hit that resistance and then you just go into discovery. It would have been disaster because you would have probably bounced up to 420 and then everybody would have sold off, including these people here. It comes back in here. They're all selling because they know all these people are stuck from 7 years ago. And then it would have bounced probably through here and restarted. The fact we came up here briefly, and I mean for a minute moment, pushed into discovery and retook the high in this chart at least, and then came back, that's everything. Now we're wiping out everybody who was stuck. It came down by better than 50%, which is the correct retracement. It retested distribution, which was the correct retest. So now you're talking about a massive correction of 53%. And now it's working its way back up to demand. Yes, we've drawn it out in case it has to take 3.5 years, just so we can see from a fundamental standpoint of this is what might need to happen, but not expected to happen. The fact that we had a failed fifth wave, the third wave was greater than the first, but less than or more than the fifth, which is a failed Elliott wave, which means you have to go into corrective, which is a WXY, 1, 2, 3, ABC, Z. I don't really care what you call it. It's a 3-wave corrective. And then it bounced into a 5 wave, which we've done 4. We don't know if this is the 5th starting, but if it gets back into demand and ultimately breaks through discovery, it's obviously validated. And that's what we're looking to see. And right now, I'm very happy with what's going on. Like, because we took this out properly. My nervous tick was that we were going to get into discovery and not wipe out those 7 years of holders. We've already done that now. If somebody wanted to sell, they've had more than the opportunity to sell through here after hitting 340. Again, that's the beauty of this. We get into discovery, the sky's the freaking limit. Because that's a massive flag there. And if we do this properly, I mean, you're talking $5 plus here. And it's not even a question in my mind. 549 would have to be hit. The only question is would it take the pattern setup all the way to 679 from the initial breakout zone? Like, that's my only question. Does it come up there, or 669? Would it come up there and take out that entire pattern setup, you know, from the entirety of this pattern? And, you know, there's a chance that it would. A real chance that it would be, or 679 right here. Because that's the target out of this descending wedge from so long ago, from all-time highs, from the beginning. And if you stretch it out, that's why when you take all of the charts, we had this chart set up before this ever broke out, years in advance. We had this on the market cap set up years before it made that W. And we said, what if it makes the Hank Hill's ass? And then it consolidates and breaks out. That's how we get up to these numbers of 255 billion in the XRP market cap. And now we're doing it. It's actually doing it, and it's been consolidating perfectly. And now it's actually broke out of my initial expectations. And I drew these out years in advance. And now look how it's starting to play out now. Now if I had hindsight, I could have did this because now I know. But I didn't know that years ago. I didn't know how hindsight would play out. But this is actually what I would have drawn out years ago if I would have had the evidence. See how it's had this cup and handle? See how it's breaking out of the handle? See how it's back testing the handle? This is where we have to realize this could get hyper parabolic very quickly if it holds this. This is probably the most exciting time of the pattern in 2025. The most exciting part of this bull run. Because if this holds, we're going to soaring some places. Now, we're not going to get to 549 and we're not going to get to 244 billion right away. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a pretty quick evolution here. If this breaks out, your first layer is 215. Ultimately, you'll hit that 244. But, I mean, we're in a very, very, very fast-paced moment right now. This is a very big moment. Look at all of these positive indicators. What do you guys think of this? I understand that we can get stuck in the bearish mindset, but when you look at it from afar in a more macro look, what are you seeing here? Are you seeing bearish, or are you seeing back tests of a possible breakout that brings us into the next framework, then to the next layer? We have the futures coming online tomorrow with CME, or late tonight. We have all this stuff that's starting to happen that can lead to price appreciation. Now that we know all of that stuff, now we have stuff like this that starts floating through the news. And expect to see more of this stuff. So this came out 2 days ago, or 1 day ago. It was last updated yesterday. So Meta plans to acquire Ripple for XRP USD. And we're going to fact check this to see if it's true or not. I've heard a lot of speculation about this. Rumors are swirling across the fintech and crypto communities over potential acquisition of Ripple Labs by tech giant Meta. This speculation fueled by a recent interview on the Tech Path YouTube channel featuring XRP Las Vegas event director Bradley Kimes. So, do I put a lot of stock in this? But it's interesting nonetheless. Has anybody heard about this? During the discussion, Barrow highlighted Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's renewed interest in stablecoins and cross-border payments, an area Ripple has been long involved in. Hence, if materialized, Meta's rumored acquisition could involve interest in Ripple XRP and RLUSD stablecoin. Could we see a potential end around here with someone like Meta going after Ripple? Barrow asked here, he referenced Zuckerberg's comments on the profitability of cross-border payment systems. Zuckerberg just said that it would double their profit if they could get into cross-border payments. Kimes did not confirm any deal, but acknowledged the broader trend of mergers and acquisitions across the industry. Whether it's Ripple or whether it's Meta targeting them or what have you, I see this in the moment where special things like this can take place. He said Meta has to have a plan. Now, if that plan involves trying to acquire Ripple, I don't know. Zuckerberg's comments at a Stripe-hosted event have also fueled speculation. He described global money transfers as crazily difficult and said someone needs to build a stablecoin. It needs to have a certain amount of scale in order to become a standard. Barrow suggested that Ripple's established user base, more than 6.5 million holders, represents the kind of scale Zuckerberg is seeking. Meta's recent hiring decisions have added to the intrigue. Ginger Baker, Meta's current VP of product, has past affiliations with Stellar Foundation, Plaid, and First Horizon are organizations deeply connected to the payments and blockchain industries. Kimes also referenced a broader pattern of strategic alignments, just like Ripple, trying to acquire Circle. All of these things happening tell me the larger sign is this isn't turning around and going the other way. The XRP Las Vegas event slated from this is going to be a big event too on May 30th and 31st for info. Is expected, and this could lead to a micro catalyst for price appreciation over the next 2.5 weeks, as well as with the CME futures going online. If history is any measure, last year and every year we've always had something on stage be breaking news, Kimes stated. When asked how the XRP community might respond to potential Meta Ripple collaboration, Kimes responded confidently. I think they would be for it. Whatever they do, it's going to be in the best interest of Ripple in pursuing the mass adoption of innovation and technology. With growing speculation, many are watching for possible developments at the upcoming event. For now, neither Ripple nor Meta has issued any official comment. I think that's interesting. One way or the other, I still think that's interesting. And I think it's just something to watch. Something to at least acknowledge is going on. Whether anything comes from it or not, at least we'll be on top of it, in my opinion. Let's see. Miss Erica BitUNIX hints at a big announcement with Ripple too. Yes, a lot of people are. A lot of people are. Ali, a megaphone, bullish megaphone pattern. Indeed. It's something we speculated about. I haven't put it in the megaphone settings just because I don't want to keep adding to the chart, but it absolutely has the makings of it. I'm just keeping it set up in this fashion because we can see the bullish back test. And it might be a little easier for some to follow along. Let's see. Everything is timing, Rick. It is indeed. Frankie says that's bullshit. Looks like they needed more time. Yep. For those who were late to the race and missed out on 38, would you consider it still worthwhile packing 1,000 tokens at this price or around this price for the... That is the toughest question I get. It's not that it's not worth it. It's just we know we have a fair value gap at $1.50 if this doesn't pan out. So I'd be more comfortable in that area. But it's also the fact that there's other opportunities out there with pricing. Like, would I buy XRP at $2.39? Or would I buy Algo at 22 cents? You know, or would I buy ODA at 22 cents? Or would I buy Zilt at under 1.3? Me personally, you guys all know my route I've taken. I've been buying a massive amount of XDC. I think XDC versus Ripple at this point, price-wise, I think is the actual steal. Let me look at what I have currently. XDC, and I do it on BITUNIX. I love BITUNIX. It's my way to go. I just like the user ability. I just like it all. I like it all. And, like, there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing what I got to do now. Especially because you can buy and sell as you please. You don't have to keep it. You know, if you see something going wrong, the fees are so cheap that you can literally get rid of it. But I've been diligent. Like I told everybody, I'm going to be buying every single day until this goes over 10 cents. So my current holdings, I'm just trying to see my in real time. Because they're more than 30,000 or 40,000 now because we had a drop. And I continue to be transparent with what I'm doing. And I'm trying to keep a path. Sorry, I had to log back in because it logged me out like it sometimes does. So right now, and it's getting up there now. I must say I'm starting to get up there with how much I hold. I have 51,455 XDC. I just bought $200 worth just now. Or another 1,500, not $200 worth. What was that? Another 1,500 tokens while we were doing this, just so I could do it. I know it's up 4% almost today, but when I was doing it the last couple days, it was down. So I'm trying to stay up on that. So XDC, I think, is a very fair way to go with this. I really do. Well, we'll talk more about XDC. I think it's in an inverse head and shoulders, so you're not going to get that opportunity forever. So I would definitely look at that. This looks like they needed more time. You're damn right about that, Sean. That's why they delayed it. That's all it is. John Bugathorpe, good morning and welcome in. Pumpmaster Flash said, trying to make sure I think, yeah, Casablanca 252 is a massive resistance for XRP. That's a major level before 265. So if you're looking at the big resistance, we have 242 to 244 roughly we have to get through now. You could technically say 239. And then we got to get through $2.52, $2.65, and then we're off to $3. That's where we have to go. ZIL looks very solid in my opinion as well. I have a couple 100,000 ZIL. I still build more every time it stays like this. But I think ZIL's looking good as well. It's massively behind. It's back testing this inverse head and shoulders breakout on the pattern breakout as well. So this could be big if it holds 1-2. We had this big descending wedge that broke out of already. And this is why I got so excited. Like, you could look at it like this for sure and say that it was a momentary inverse had that form. But a lot of things are looking pretty solid right now. Let me go through the comments here. Peregrine said, thank you. Oh, talking to Frankie Fretz. Maddie's looking solid indeed. Yes, Amuse stablecoin legislation. There is discussions tomorrow. That's why it's going to be a big start to the week. Notice the last 2 Sundays we've actually had bullish pushes. If this holds, there's a reason for that. Andrew, happy Sunday to you. Have a blessed day, my friend. I don't know what you want to hear my thoughts on. I don't know. I must have missed your comment higher up. Or what somebody said, I must be taking a break from work to watch. Nice. I'm glad that you're able to take a break and get some information at least. It's been 36 minutes. I can't believe it goes so fast. Ali, I agree with that. It very well could be. And Miss Erica with good information about BitUNIX, which is something I forgot about this morning because I had a bunch of stuff. So we went through Meta. We went through the CME group. But that is great info. A lot of people are speculating this. A lot of people are, I'm telling you, there's something big on the horizon. I feel it, and I can see it from everything I'm reading. This will tie in, too. So thank you, Miss Erica Love. I really appreciate you typing that in so that I could at least remember that this was going on, that it was said earlier. Major exchange excites XRP community with cryptic Ripple post. So BitUNIX, one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges, has caused significant buzz within the XRP community with the cryptic post teasing a Ripple-linked announcement. The exchange has stated its announcement will have a ripple effect on the market, tagging the San Francisco-based blockchain firm. It is worth noting that the post comes just days before the launch of the CME Group's regulated XRP futures, which is slated to take place May 19th. In pre-market, though, people are going to be able to buy tonight, which is crazy. I'll go over my thoughts on silver, Mike, before I leave, I promise. So, the exchange launched a perpetual swap on the XRP token back in February 2020. BitUNIX is, of course, known as one of the most prominent derivatives exchanges. It also launched a spot exchange back in 2022 in May. Some commentators believe that the announcement could be related to Ripple USD, the red-hot stablecoin that launched in late 2024. The dollar-pegged cryptocurrency has already been listed on several cryptocurrency exchanges. A lot of commenters are seemingly displeased with XRP's rather underwhelming price action. It's because they don't have the patience. Patience is a virtue when it comes to XRP, especially with what's being implemented. After occupying headlines with its enormous rally in the fourth quarter of 2024 and early 25, the cryptocurrency is struggling to revive its momentum. No, it's not. It's backtesting and it's holding absolutely spectacularly. The XRP price has been flat over the past week, adding a mere 3.3% over the past week. Many XRP holders believe that BitUNIX's much-hyped announcement, whatever it is, will actually have little impact on the market. As reported by U-Today, Ripple recently experienced significant legal setback with the district court denying a joint motion for indicative ruling and seemingly rejecting the idea of rubber stamping the settlement agreement that was reached with the SEC. The development was described as a curveball by pro-XRP analyst John Deaton. So, that I just wanted to validate what Miss Erica was saying, so thank you for that information. This is something I want to read as well before I leave because I think it's a pretty cool, interesting tie-in. XRP is trying to flip over $2.40, which is a good thing. I might as well go through this real quick. It's in the video description below and or pinned comment, so I don't have to do this later as well. If you're looking to trade crypto XRP worldwide in the USA, you're sick of all the fees. In 21, like I've told the story a million times, I was on Uphold, a lot of fees. I had bought about $5,000 worth of crypto, turned it into 16, 17,000. When I went to sell it out, it cost me almost $2,000, and I was mortified. And that was my first real hard lesson. Because when you're buying it, you're not realizing it. But when you go to sell it and you see all those fees, that's some shit. So it took me a while to understand and try to figure out all the exchanges to the way they needed to be. And now I know BITUNIX. They had XRP back in 21, so it's a little bit of an annoyance for me, the fact that I didn't know it back then, but I was still very raw when it came to all this stuff, especially deeper into the exchanges. But lowest spot and leverage trading fees worldwide. In the USA, I mean, it feels like a cheat sheet when you come from other exchanges. You can swing trade, you can leverage trade, you can spot trade. And you could buy XDC today for $5,000, see tomorrow that maybe it's not what you want, and sell it out for whatever it's worth and lose a couple dollars. Less than 20 bucks. Like that's what I mean. It's not like, oh, I bought $5,000 worth, now there's a 4% penalty to buy and sell. You know, you're not getting that. So take advantage of that. You can also go to crypto.com for DGB or LBank. And then, you know, just PayPal, Cash App, Venmo if you want to show us support. You can join the Telegram, which I highly encourage. It's free. A lot of different minds in there. If you go in there, this is what you'll see. It's very there's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of people talking. A lot of different things set up. So you'll be able to see that. And then if you're just joining it because you want to see when my content comes out, I do this all the time. Good morning, JW. I know you're watching as well out there in the abyss, even though we can't see your comments. So you'll be able to find all the content in one place as well. And then, yeah, HOTCOIN's on there as well. They've got a lot of things. I encourage that as well. Their customer service has gone way above and beyond the last 6 months, so it's starting to become a much better exchange. Let's see. They're just putting the carrot in front of us. Pig. They sure are, Cowabunga. I think Sarah will follow suit with Coinbase and end up on S&P. I see it. I do too. I have over 40,000 crypto.com tokens that I won't sell. I use it. It helps me with rewards and stuff for my crypto.com debit card, but that's something that I'm going to keep because I 100% agree with you. It's going to end up on the stock market exchange one day. I see it as a Coinbase, the same thing, but it's so cheap right now. These are the early stages, and you see on other exchanges, they start off at 5, 6, 7, 10, 30, 50 cents, and they end up at 10, 15, 20, $100 because of their ecosystems. CRO's got a big ecosystem as well, and it's used as a governance token as well, so it's something. Grant, I agree, SDC is amazing. Suggestion for wallet, I used to use Zaman for XRP and then some others, but now I support the XRP healthcare wallet. And I have my XRP Healthcare and my XRP on there. So I like the XRP Healthcare wallet. Trying to show some forward, support for them as well. James doing my phone did a huge update, so I had to allow notifications. Oh, yeah. And you probably got a bunch of them as well. And good morning, my friend. And thanks for being part of Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. And I am not yelling at you, I promise. Andrew says Earth in the future will be renamed Krypton. You never know. You never know. I got my 10,000 bag of XTC sitting happy now, kicking myself for dropping my bag of XP at 207, thinking it was going lower. That's the tough part of buying and selling XRP, and especially where it's at. Because we're stuck between the gap at 150 and then the demand zone right around 265 or 270, 275 area. Andrew said, gave my like number 76. Yeah, we're at, let's see, how many likes do we have? 95 now. Wow. 95 likes out of 143. Getting up there. That's amazing. You'll be a DGB millionaire first. I agree with that. I've already made probably 60,000 clear in cash on XRP. But in this bull cycle, I've made, I know, guaranteed 30 from when I sold 10,000 at 3+. But that was only because I added a double bag when it was at 38 cents, so it's well more than that because I added $5,000 worth, even though I had 12,000 at 34 cents plus. But I bought it through the XRP Bitcoin parent. I did what I had to do. And I still got my bag that I want and then some. But I'm trying to figure out a way in crypto to where you're buying twice as much. So then when you get to the top of what looks like a rally, you can sell. And then when it gets back to the bottom of a bear, you can buy her. If it's not over yet, you still have your bag that has to stay there forever. So there's that fine line. Trading with J Right, thanks for the $10 donation. And also being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP 589 Moonbeds. The first donation and or new member of Tom's Army in this live. I love it. Love it. Cold, yeah, there is a cold wallet. The XRP Healthcare Cold Wallet, the app. And I bought it on the Google Play Store. It's available. Or I downloaded it on the Google Play Store. It's available on the App Store as well. Correct. And you'll have to go through the same deep seeding of the phrasing, the seed phrases, and all that good stuff like you would have to do on any other wallet. And the Descent wallet, Zaman, those are fine. A lot of people I trust in this community that use Descent, and they have no reason to lie to us. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3rd month with the XRP, or over 3 months, probably like getting closer to 6 now. With the XRP Meteor. I'm proud to be in your paid community as well. He does a very, very nice podcast, which, you know what? We still got 15 minutes. I would like to show the Cannabis Podcast. Just so you guys can see it. Probably easier for me to do it like this. Where is my friend's Cannabis Podcast? I guess it'll be easier just to go through my subscriptions, even though I have a shitload of them. You should be somewhere towards... Who knows? They always move everything around. Here it is. So, the Cannabis Podcast, if you want to go here, great stuff. I got to catch up, though. I got to catch up on the last 2 or 3. I kind of got caught in my own cycle spin at home, and I can't even think straight. But I went through a bunch of his content. I'm glad to see there's a few. I'm going to play these when I'm in my garden today. I'll probably start with the one 2 months ago and play into it. But it's a beautiful community. Beautiful. I like to do the paid support as well. I don't know. I like to support people that are putting a lot of work into it. And it's more than just, oh, we're going to talk about cannabis. I mean, it is about cannabis, but there's a lot of information about statistics. There's a lot of information if you want to use it for medical purposes outside of smoking. A lot of information on where to go about and how to actually start your stuff. I mean, there's so much information. So I highly encourage you take a look there. I went through a lot of podcasts and a lot of stuff with cannabis, and most of it's bullshit. So it's nice to see something legit and actually taking a step farther than, oh, we're potheads, you know, and we're going deeper to the medicinal side. I appreciate the medicinal side of it. So highly encouraged, man. I appreciate it. Oh, you're welcome for the love, and thank you for the love back. We are building community, indeed. DGB, I'll go over, and then we'll look at the mining stocks, precious metals, and things like that. I have to think I'm going to be back at some point tonight as long as I have the freedom and flexibility. I would imagine there's going to be another live tonight. I like to do one at night. But the reason I do non-updates on Saturday and Sunday mornings, as you see Monday through Friday, I like to talk to everybody for an hour early morning on Saturday and Sunday because most people sleep. But I get up at 7 still on Saturdays and Sundays, so I try to involve the audience. And if you're leaving, don't worry about it. You got through the heart of the show. I know you know XRP for the most part is done. But if you stay tuned until the end, you might see sunny days. You might not. So DGB, we're trying to break out of this consolidation. We've rounded the bottom perfectly like we anticipated. This is where I bought 400,000 more tokens. They're up over 2 million now at 0085 area. It's come up. Now we need to get past this rejection area at 1.09, actually 1.1, and then break this resistance top at 1.2. Once we break, or 1.3, we'll call it. Now 1.22. Once we break that, it's going to open up this pattern to the top resistance. Yeah, this is a pivot point, but it should open up the door all the way up to about 2 cents, which is about 100% move from here. DGB is just a matter of time for it to fill this out. We've had this drawn out for a long time. It's just a matter of time. We are in supply zone, very much so. We're in the supply. And it's very much a big area of opportunity here. I'm telling you, it's just like XRP. Once it breaks out of here, it's over. you won't get this opportunity again. I don't think once most of crypto breaks through these areas of concern, I don't think we're going to end up back in these areas for some time. It seems like we're just not going to end up back here for some time. And that's okay. You know, that is okay. No, I don't want that. So we'll have to break out of here at some point, but you want to buy it as close to support structure as you can when it's doing this. And right now it looks like we're rounding. So if crypto does round here and we get some big news to start the week, DGB is another one that's positioned very nicely. And it's been a very long consolidation, so oh, good, my dirt got dropped off. I ordered a lot of dirt again. Topsoil is a great bargain right now for like $2.70 for a 40-pound bag. I've put like 5,500 gallons of dirt, no joke, in my backyard. So I've done like 130 to 140 bags, plus some others, and potting soils and things that I need for the manures, and yeah. So I've been doing a lot. It's been a lot. Let's see. What else? So that's DGB. But let's break down into this real quick. Silver in 2025, I get the question a lot about silver. Silver's on a bull flag here. And if this does break out in a bullish scenario, that come down like that on the V-shaped recovery, this sends us up a pretty up over that 34, but it sends us into that $36 to $38 range, or right up to that resistance at 39. Once we get over 34 and then 39, it's over. We get over 39.50, we're coming up to 50 in a very quick, swift move. Now, is it going to happen in 25? I would be surprised in 25 if we go through the next 7 months and silver can't get over 40. So my expectation is we should be sitting over 40 by the end of the year. If not, near that $38 range. I'd be stunned if we're not. We got a cup we're working on. We built the handle, or building it. So we're going to have a massive appreciation. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up at 93 by the end of next year. And what does that mean for mining stocks? Serious appreciation. But we got to get out of this little channeled range. It's somewhere between $9.50 and $50 is where we're stuck in between. We kind of do this pattern. But to me, it just built a cup and handle. Once that breaks out to 50 and then pushes over, oh boy, it's going to be something special. So 25, I would be looking at that $40 range and plus. I really would. Unless for some reason they drop us out of this handle, we got some serious appreciation that's going to take place. And silver always rallies at the so 75% of the move for silver happens in the last 25% of the bull run for precious metals. It happens every cycle, and it usually happens after gold exhausts itself. Not saying gold can't continue rising, but there's going to come a point where silver rises a lot faster. And gold, that's why I'm interested to see how it starts this week. We had sold our mining stocks briefly when like B2 Gold was at $3.34. Pan America Silver was up at 25, 26. First Majestic was at about 640. Fortuna was at about 620. Barrett was at 22 or 21, and we sold. I bought back on Friday. Barrett Gold was at like 1770 something. You know, B2 Gold was at 289 or 290. Pan America was at 2255. First Majestic was at 552, and Fortuna was at 531. So I was able to save a lot on that. And that was the goal. And I said, I'm not going to wait until this falls all the way through, because this very well could fall to a head. Maybe it comes down another $1. But for me, being able to save through that drop, that was a 13, 15%. I'm not looking to be a hero here to myself. I've got more holdings than I had before the drop, token-wise or share-wise. And I also was able to max out my contribution for the 2025 tax year for my IRA, because I can do $7,000 a year tax write-off, tax deferred. And these are my emerging market funds that I have, all 4 of these. There was $3,500 in both them, the Vanguards, and $3,250 in both the Fidelities. The Vanguard ones are worth about $3,900 now, so they've gone up since 24 tax season. And then in the 25 tax season, I focused on Fidelity because they were starting the rounding of the bottom on the charts, as there were some of the other ones. We're already in this parabolic spike, I felt like. And now this is, in the last several weeks now, this started to round the bottom. So in my 2025 tax year, I was able to first put into Fidelity, and I maxed off the contribution last week when I did this, and then the buyback in, which ironically on Friday, I talked about it on Thursday in Fidelity, but on Thursday I maxed out these contributions because I was able to have some funds from when I saved on the mining stocks. So I was able to invest about $6,000 into the Fidelity ones because I only had about $500 or I don't know, it was, yeah, I had about $1,000 in it. So I put the last 6,000, but I was able to take that out of the mining stocks at face value. And now instead of having near 41,000, it's 36,000. So it's about 5,400. But I have more holdings in the mining stocks than I had before I sold it last Wednesday. Or not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before last week when we had the FOMC meeting where they kept rates the same. So it was about 1 week it took for that to materialize, and then I bought back in by Thursday and Friday. And then I was able to flip the last 5,500 or 6,000, whatever it was. I can't remember if I had 1,000 or 1,500 in contributions. We'll just say 5,500. So I was able to max these out and still have the same. So it was one of those cases, and I talked about what my plan was before it happened. And I was able to do it while all these were kind of floundering. And then I have the same holding. So that's something I do instead of shorting the market. So I took advantage. Now I've got over 14,000 that I've contributed. But it's up to like 14,700 in my IRA now. $700 over the top. There's monthly dividends. And these are the emerging markets. So as I expect the US dollar over the next 25 years to depreciate, I expect the emerging markets to fly high. And I'm only 41. So I started this contribution at 40, and I'm going to do it till I'm 65, 7,000 a year. And it's going to be the exact same motto. So between crypto, between the emerging markets, between the mining stocks and precious metals, there's more than just one avenue that I go through here. So that's what I got for everybody. Make sure to hit that like button. I hope this helped. I hope I was able to give you some insight on different ways you can approach your investment portfolio. Yes, I could charge a lot of money to do all of this. I get it. People would pay, but I'd rather just, I would rather just do this for free and let everybody learn at their own pace. I really would. So that you can follow my strategies. You can do exactly what I do, exactly the way I do it. It just takes patience. That's all. Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. So you can look at the bullish or bearish megaphone. You come in from a spot of a drop down up, which is what we did. And we're going up. So, I mean, you could look at it absolutely as the... Here, let me go into which one would be the easiest. Let me get rid of all this. I think this would be the easiest chart. And then we're going to go into sunny days because I got to get moving here. I got to get to church by 11. I got fucking 13 40-pound bags of dirt to move before I go. I'm going to set them up in the positioning for when I get back from church to do like 4 hours of work probably. It's going to take me at least 3 to 4 hours. Wearing a shirt today because I got seriously burned because I wanted to get my underarms and my stuff tanned. And I don't wear sunscreen because it's poison. So, and I'm not going to explain that to everybody, but it's poison. You can do your own research. I don't want to get banned. So, I mean, if you look at it like this, it's so we could go to 1 to 2. But then it almost looks like a wedge. But it is a megaphone pattern. We talked about it before, but I don't want to emphasize it like that because we've got so many different ways to look at this. But the megaphone pattern, I mean, it is set up just like that. And the reason why I was saying you could look at it more like that or more like this, but if you want to look at it correctly, you would have to look at it something like that. So if it is, I mean, you're talking about coming up to $4, $3.75 and then the push up. I mean, it's all setting up like that. So yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Ali. You are not wrong. Because it absolutely could be. Write off your Windows time you can. I installed for 8 years. Never thought of writing off my Windows. And that cost $12,700 for my windows when I got them put in this year. That's great advice. So I'm going to get into the XRP or the sunny days. 35 people have left, which I completely understand because this is coming to an end. But before I leave, for the ones who stayed tuned, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, we do this from time to time. And today it's not because we're sad. It's not because we're feeling bearish. Today's because we feel time of opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we may and we won't and we will and we did and we didn't and we will and we may and we won't and they said we did but we didn't and we're bear and we're bullish and we're bear and we are and we're not and we will and we won't and we can and we will and we won't. Oh yeah. Stay true. Stay blessed. We could only all be as happy as the sun is this morning smoking a stogie. Love it. Love it. It's come very long ways. When I first did this, I had about 100 subscribers, and they all looked at me like I was a complete buffoon. Tom, I know you have to go to church, but how do I link my Coinbase account to my XRP wallet? I don't have Coinbase, so I don't know. I don't have a Coinbase account. Is there anybody who has Coinbase in here that might be able to lend a hand? I don't have Coinbase. I would encourage you to join the Telegram. Here, let me put the Telegram on the bottom. And then maybe somebody in the Telegram could help you. Because there's a lot of people in the Telegram I know for a fact use Coinbase. And there's 200 and almost 90 people in there now. I don't talk about this often, but I'm going to talk about it today for the last second. So that if you need to join, if somebody needs help, you can at least get in there. I'll share this right now before I leave. Just in case you want to go in there and you need some help. So there's the Telegram. Click on that and then, yeah, Andrew. A lot of people don't. Hey, Screech is in the house as well. Loved you in Saved by the Bell, sir. You must be talking to us from the beyond. But the sunny days is just something I've always done. I came up with the verses myself and I love it. So, yes, sir, Screech. Yes, sir. But thank you, everybody. I do have to get to church and I got some stuff to do before I leave. So I got about a half hour to do what I got to do. So thank you all. Thanks for blessing me on this Sunday. And do the most you can. Go out there and maximize this Sunday. Prove to our Lord and Savior, to God himself, that you're worthy of living this day and every day going forward. That's what I've dedicated to do. So I have... Sounds like you're starting to speak in tongues. I just might be. So I'm trying to take advantage of every day, no matter how my body feels and no matter how much work it is. Each and every day I'm trying to make things better. I'm trying to create abundance for not just myself, but for everybody else who watches and everybody who tries to join in. And I'm trying to push the power of positivity. We're not the victim. We are winners here. Bottom